You guys, so the Halloween movie series continues. I know I took a break for a day from them because there's other movies that I wanted to talk about. Now we're talking about Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, which is basically Halloween 6. Now, I know they finally released the producer's cut, and you're probably asking yourself, which one are we talking about here? We're going to talk about the overall film. I'll talk about a couple things that I liked in the producer's cut, a couple things I liked in the theatrical cut, but mostly we're talking about the film itself. The plot of this movie is it picks up, I think, about 8 years after Halloween 5 ended, and Michael broke out of prison, and we find out Jamie was kidnapped there as well. And we open up on October 30th, the night before Halloween, Devil's Night, and Jamie is escaping the mental institution where she was being kept by Michael's cult, which is something that it kind of started in Halloween 5, but I didn't talk about my Halloween 5 review because I wanted to save it all for this review specifically, because this is something that I have to talk about. But it opens up, we see that she's escaping, she had a baby, and over the radio, Dr. Loomis, who's played by Donald Pleasance one last time, and Tommy Doyle, an older Tommy Doyle, played by Paul Rudd, in his first movie, and they hear over the radio that Michael's back and Jamie's alive and she's escaping, and basically the movie takes place the next day on Halloween, and Michael is going after the people who are in his old house, which is Laurie's family. Laurie's family is living in the Myers house. So, what do I think of Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers? I like it. I think it's okay. I do. Now, when I first saw it, I didn't like it that much, at all. But the more I watch it, and over the years, it has grown on me. And, I realize that there are far much worse Halloween movies out there. But let's talk about this for a minute. First off, I'm going to get this out of the way. Donald Pleasance is Dr. Loomis. This was his final time as Dr. Loomis, and he died shortly after making this movie. In fact, I think he died while they were still technically filming. But yeah, it was very, very close, and you could tell in this movie that he was sick and he was going to go any day. And it's sad to see that happen. He left us a great legacy of not only Halloween films, but other great roles for, the James Bond movie he did and stuff like that. But, I'll always know Donald Pleasance for Dr. Loomis. He was my dude, he was my main man, and he is sadly missed to this day. And I know it's been a while since he passed. I think, 20 years now? Wow, this movie's 20 years old. This one is. But yeah. But let's talk about Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, and he's what you would think that Tommy Doyle would grow up to be like. Now, he's not like Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th. He didn't grow up to be very weird to where he's almost homicidal. He grew up to where he's weird and creepy, but he's like the weirdo neighbor staring out the window all the time, kind of keeping an eye on you, because he knows that they're in the Myers house, and he knows it's Laurie's family, so that's why he seems stalkerish in this movie. But, you gotta look at what the kid's been through, he survived a tragedy, he survived a murder spree, and he's seen some shit happen, and he knows what Michael's capable of. So, he's very concerned, and, I like that about Tommy Doyle in this movie, I do. Was Paul Rudd the first choice or the perfect choice to play Tommy Doyle? Maybe not, but he's not bad in the movie, and there are some spots where he does seem a little cheesy and stuff, but you gotta remember, this was his first movie. He didn't have much experience at that point. He wasn't Ant-Man yet, or Brian Fantana, or anything like that, no. He was just Tommy Doyle learning the ropes on how to act. So even if the parts that are a little bit cheesy when it comes to his lines and stuff and his performance, I gotta give him a pass. What's her name? J.C. Brandy? I don't know. I think her name was J.C. Brandy. The chick who replaced Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, the older Jamie Lloyd. She's I think they said she was 16 now. So, what I think of her is she's not in the movie much. She's in the producer's cut a little bit more. But when she's there, I didn't really have a problem with her. I just wish they were able to work something out with Danielle Harris, because if you watch the behind the scenes stuff, some shit went down between the studio and Danielle Harris, and that's why we have J.C. Brandy. I wish they would have worked it out, because it would have been nice to see Danielle Harris in the role. She was around the right age at this time, so it would have. I would have liked to see her back as Jamie one more time, but she was fine. I didn't have a problem with her. Let's see. The chick who played, I'm gonna guess, Marianne Hagen is the chick who plays Kara Strode. And Kara, I like Kara. I do. She's one of the stronger female leads in the Halloween series. She's not, she's not Laurie Strode. She's not Jamie Lloyd. But she's good. I'd probably put her at number 3 on the list, actually. In that order, probably, too. I would go, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lloyd, and Kara Strode. That's probably how I would rank them. She's really good. I just didn't have a problem. I didn't really have a problem with her at all. And then we have her son, Danny, who is weird. He's creepy. But then you find out why he's so weird and creepy, He doesn't have a father. All he's got is his family, and pretty much the only ones that like him are, everybody likes the kid except for his grandfather, Kara's dad. He's the dick and he's the asshole, and I'm going to talk about him for a minute. What I think about him as a character is so cliched. He's such the typical asshole father, that has his grandson that he didn't even want, or whatever, and it's just, okay, whatever. Mitchell Ryan as Dr. Wynn. Now, Mitchell Ryan is a guy that I really don't know too much about. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but what I think of Dr. Wynn in this movie is I could have done without him. I really could have, which brings me to the man in the silver-toed boots that we met in Halloween 5 that was just kind of walking around, lurking, and then he's the one who broke Michael out of prison at the end of 5. And that was something that they hinted towards in Halloween 5, but I wanted to save talking about that character until this one. The whole thing with the cult, I really think that they could have done without that, telling basically the origin of Michael Myers. The great thing about Michael Myers is we really don't know what set him off, and, up until this point anyway, and I've always liked that. Because, with Jason we had a backstory, Freddy we had a backstory, and that's all good and fun, but for Michael Myers, I never understood why a backstory, for Michael Myers needed one, I didn't see the need for it. But the occult stuff I could have done without that. I will admit though, the thorn symbol was cool, I guess. Trying to deal with what does the thorn mean. What does the thorn mean? The thorn's origin, I was fine with that. It's just like the whole Michael's got a cult now, there's all these guys worshiping him and stuff like that. I really could have done without that. Now, preferably, overall, I prefer the producer's cut of the movie until the last 15 minutes. The last 15 minutes of this movie is much better than the theatrical cut. So, I think I'm going to, eventually, one day, I'll take the producer's cut and just put the ending to the theatrical cut in there. And that to me would be the better version of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. George P. Wilbur, I do want to talk about. George P. Wilbur is playing Michael Myers yet again in this movie. He played Michael Myers in Halloween 4, and he is my favorite Michael Myers. He is. He's my favorite guy. With Michael Myers and Jason and stuff, we had a lot of guys in the mask throughout the series, but, George P. Wilbur, he's done it twice now, so, I really like the way that George P. Wilbur portrayed the shape. It felt very Halloween 1-ish, and that's what I wanted. The movie itself didn't exactly feel like Halloween 1, but when the shape was around, it felt like the Halloween 1 shape. It did. So I really liked that. The mask in this movie, it's still not great, but it's much better than Halloween 5's masks. It really is. But then I do want to talk about a couple of the side characters that we really don't see much. First off, Kara's mom. What was her name? Mary, I think her name was. And she was good. I liked her. She's the typical, sweet old lady, who really loves her kids. And, she understands. She's like, okay, I really didn't want a grandson yet. There are some things that I wish my daughter would have did first before she had kids. But, he's my family, and I'm going to love him because he's my family. You know, she's like the opposite of, you know, her husband. And I really like the character. I really wish she could have sticked around a little bit longer. The radio DJ, what a dick. I didn't care. Um, and the two best friends, like the brother, the brother of Kara. He was funny. He was good. I enjoyed watching him on the screen. His girlfriend, not so much. The kills in this movie. There's a couple pretty decent kills in the movie. You know, they're not. I'd say this one probably has the least memorable kills. But probably the one that's gonna stick with me is when Jamie's escaping from the mental institution, and you know he hangs that chick up on the wall, and you know the one I'm talking about at the very beginning of the movie. That one's pretty cool. But the one that's really gonna stick with me is when he just snaps the guy's neck and he like turns his head completely around, and you know that scene was cool. Probably my favorite fucking kill in the fucking movie. Yeah, terror never rests in peace. It's an okay tagline. It works. But like I said, guys, it's a fun time. It's not the worst Halloween movie. I did not like it when it first came out, but over the years it has grown on me, and I've actually found myself to enjoy it quite a bit, actually, for the most part, despite a few problems with it. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get this question a lot. Do I prefer the theatrical cut or producer's cut? Like I said, I prefer the producer's cut up until the last 15 minutes. Then I prefer the theatrical cut. I think the theatrical cut had a much better ending. I don't even know why they decided to do that ending for the producer's cut. But yeah, I don't know. But other than that, you know, I have fun with Halloween 6. And overall, I'm going to give Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers a solid C. Yes. Not great, but not awful either. It's in the middle. It's okay. It's fun. And this one, I do want to mention, this one is very, very dark. Like, this one is probably arguably, it's the darkest of the Halloween movies. It's the darkest they ever got. It's definitely the most gory. You know, there's a lot more gore in this one. A lot more extreme kills in this one. There's one involving a washer that, you know, it's pretty fucked up and whatnot, but, yeah. So guys, what do you think of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers? Comment your thoughts down below. What did you thought about the movie? Like the video, share, and subscribe. Just do it!